dart bowl on and off for 5 hours now. It reeks of poison.
The Speedway rider, look! This must be his house. I was at the Euro Championships, 94. He was 3 bikes back then on the last lap. He canes it up on the inside. Front wheel almost doesn't touch the ground. Boom! Right on the line, he takes it from inshore. It was just beautiful.
The kettle's just boiled. Do you want a tea or coffee?
I'm afraid not, if we can just get on with this.
So you want my help now? Yeah.
Yes.
So much for being on my show.
I'm very good, thank you, and thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, really good place. Very clear about a lot of things, and yeah, very focused. Yeah, feel good.
Thank you so much.
To cut a long story short, it's been a pretty tough year in some respects, but I don't want to go into that. But yeah, you know, you can only ever go so far down before you come back up, and that's always good for people to realise. And I've certainly come back up. So yeah, really good.
Fantastic. What can I say, Rosa? You're one of our how can I say, our favorite guests, because this is the third time I do interview with you, and we have been friends for, I would say, almost 4 years before the pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Facebook. Yes, exactly.
And you're always an amazing support for Howard as well, you know, amazing support. And I always appreciate your support as well, Angela, so thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Howard, and all people in the circle there. Give me the not only the opportunity to be my guest, but also your friendship. This is something is priceless. And Victor and I, we always, you know, happy to do these interviews and also help each other, you know, because if we don't support the independent artists, each other, how are we gonna make this possible? And we noticed that now the independent artists, filmmakers especially, they're getting more, they're spending more, and their movies, of course, films are getting more spread wide, distribute worldwide. So it's amazing. People like Howard Ford, Sean Cronin, you know, Mark Summit, you know, these people are having, they're doing fantastic jobs. Yes, amazing.
Craig Hines, a bit of a genius is Craig Hines.
So fantastic.
I wish I could say, I'm always in that situation where I want to say more about Witch and the story, but it's only when it comes out that I think I'll be able to speak about it, because it's the kind of film that I think you're going to have to watch it 2 or 3 times to really get it, because it's such a complex story. And Craig Hines is a genius, along with Mark. You know, they both created this story, and yeah, mind blown. Totally. But I can never say anything about it. All I can say is this: oh my God, it's amazing. But it is like an incredible story, and it's all about the story. So yeah, I found out a little bit of news about that, actually. I can't say too much, but it's been completed. It's with the distribution companies. They're all fighting over it. And I can't say more than that, because it depends on when they want the film to be released. And that will be via a press release. So that will be probably the next step, and I can't say more than that, really. My hands are tied. So
yes,
very exciting, and I know that they're so meticulous with their planning, so meticulous, and I know they've got big ideas for the film going forward. So yeah, it is in the distribution stage. They're all like, you know, highest bidder fighting for it, and that's where we're at. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. What can I say? What I saw, of course, I saw behind the scenes some of the picture that was published in Facebook of you and Mark, you know, people in the same circle. And also the trailer is so fantastic, beautiful, and same thing for the theme song, Ghost of the Atlantis. They were also in my show. Beautiful, fantastic, top quality band. Yes, exactly.
Colin Parks is a great guy. Yeah, great guy. Really good guy. Yeah, we got a good team. really good team right across the board. The cast, the crew, the producers, the sound, everything. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
really good
yes.
team.
And
And
also
very,
Sarah Marks. I want to see her, see you, Marks, and with a fabulous cast. So good friends of mine. So what can I say?
yes. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's quite a few projects happening at the moment. I'm pleased to say, I do tend to. Yeah, again, I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity, Angelina, or Angela. I
Angela.
really do appreciate the Angela. I really do appreciate the opportunity. There is something I wanted to share with you, which I thought was very close to my heart. That's coming up in terms of a project. You know about Escape.
Hmm.
It was fantastic that I was able to get an opportunity to work with Howard again. And we had a full day of filming at the most incredible mansion in Hertfordshire. It was just mind blowing. And I got to meet the actors Anthony, I hope I pronounced his name right, Fofogaboo, and Mark Danbury, and they are also the detectives in Dark Game. And it was an absolute pleasure watching them at work, especially Anthony, because he had a lot more lines. And I think, you know, there's lots of actors out there. There's millions of actors out there, but sometimes there's certain actors that raise the bar. I watched Anthony at work on set, and it was just like an action, and he was just wow. He just switched, and I think I know because I've watched a lot of Joseph Milson as well, and I think those kind of actors, they're the kind of actors you have to aspire to. Incredible, and that's what I want to aspire to as well. I watch them, and I watch the way that they work and the way that and they're just amazing actors,
Hmm.
amazing. So such an honor for me to be in Escape and meet those guys particularly. They are yeah on another level, and to be in Howard's third film is yeah very grateful. It's been one hell of a journey with that guy since 2018 now, 5 years later since since I first met him at a little theatre where he saw me playing three characters and you know, he loved what I did. And also, Solace of a Bus Stop, you might have seen sort of marketing for that with Rhoda Wilson Productions. That's going to be very interesting, actually. Some of these small projects sometimes you can kind of create something special because you're a bit more of an underdog, and it's just a little team, and but very well planned and organized and lots of space to breathe and come up with not restricted in terms of your role and my role in particular. And I really went for it, you know, similar to Boris the Rottweiler. I really went for it. And I think last year I was in a difficult situation with not just acting, performing choices, but personal choices as well. And I think that life imitates art sometimes. So I used all that in Solace of a Bus Stop. It was quite interesting. That's going to be going to film festival. It's only a short film. People think it's a movie, but it's a short film. And then also Revenger. That's the latest one. We're going to be filming in Glossop. And it's interesting with that because I get a lot of film offers. And sometimes it's all about intuition. I have to feel it in a certain way in order for me to say, yes, you know, I'll sign the contract. And this guy just came to me from nowhere. He's a friend of a friend. I've got to pronounce his name, Owain Hachisco of King of the Ducks. It's a short film again. But what's special about it is it's kind of like similar to Dead Man's Shoes. I don't know if you've ever seen Dead Man's Shoes, which directed by Shea Meadows. And so we're going to be filming in Glossop, and I'm going to be the lead in this. And it's about this guy that turns up at this town 25 years later, and he wants his revenge. And everyone's like, "Who is that guy? Is that guy? That oh my god, it's him! What is he doing back?" That kind of thing. And but it's really interesting. What I wanted to share with you, Angela, and I understand you're going to be editing this, is when he said that it's about revenge that happened from 25 years ago. Well, you know that Boris the Rottweiler was a very cathartic experience for me based on something that happened to me for a period of time, 4 or 5 years, where I was bullied, always 2-on-1. It was never one. And my dad would say, get a bit of two before and smack him round the head with it. And back then, I was very suppressed and disconnected from myself. So I was just, yeah, Dad, all right, yeah. And I used to just like, sure, run, looking back. And so Boris the Rottweiler was based on that. When I was ripping the dogs apart, I was ripping them two apart. And it was a very cathartic experience for me. But with Revenger, which is really interesting, because I wanted to share, because, away from sort of the acting and the film and everything, and, there's a lot of ego in this business as well. It's also about sending out positive messages as well. People, when they watch films or when they watch theatre, they're getting something from this. They're getting something positive. They're getting something that moves them in a way, and hopefully, Revenger will be a similar thing experience. And so something happened to me when I was about 10 or 11 years old. I've got the name burned in my head, and sometimes when you have experiences where you're bullied, or emotional experiences, or where it's affected you in such a way you've become damaged, or it's sort of like ruined the rest of your life in some cases. I know people that would say that. I had a chance to find some closure, and not revenge as such, but some closure. Believe me, I wanted revenge for quite a while. So something happened to me when I was about 11 years old. I got really beaten up by somebody. The thing with me, the thing with bullying, I think, is, I was talking about this with somebody today, is that if you have something different about you, a lot of my friends now, like Howard, Glenn, all that sort of thing, maybe I've shared a little bit with them, that I used to walk on my toes when I was young. So I was called tiptoes and golden feet and all this. I was born with a high heel and a high arch and low arch, so I had to have um, um, sort of like weights in the back of my shoes, sort of thing, so I wasn't walking on my toes. And when you're a little bit different, when you're young and you're in that environment with other kids, anybody that's a little bit different, you get picked on. And my dad left as well when I was 11, so I was quite vulnerable as a kid. And also I was a late developer, just between me and you. So there was a lot going on, and along with the bullying and everything, it was a really tough time. And so I used to get bullied a lot. And one day we were playing football, because I was just crazy about football. I always thought I was going to be a professional footballer. I played football, for a long, long time, every day, football. And we were playing football, and we had jumpers down for goalposts. Do you know what I mean by that? So the ball went over the jumper, and I went, oh, yes, goal. I've had enough of you, Shaw. Little bit of an argument. And this guy just punched me and punched me and punched me for the best part of maybe 5 minutes. I think, looking back, gosh, I would have gone crazy. But I didn't get up, and I let him just punch me and punch me and punch me. Because I'd kind of given up. My spirit, my soul, there was a lot going on. It was kind of like this is this is kind of, I've got no fight left. And then he left. And there was a lot of guys around. They didn't really do anything. I don't know why. And then I went home, and I was covered in blood, and I had about 3-4 days off school. And then a couple of my mates got hold of him, and then it was left. And it was left for the best part of 20 years. And I was, and this is what I wanted to share with you, Angela, in a way. This is what I wanted to talk about, because I believe that, if it helps one person, bullying, it's, I'm getting a little bit emotional here. It's, but, going off on a tangent, there's if it's okay to think, oh, this happened to me, this happens to me, but it makes us who we are. It puts us in this theatre and film, and we're able to express ourselves and move people. It's amazing. So I embrace this stuff now, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. So 20 years later, I was staying with my sister in West Yorkshire. He's only living across the road. 20 years later, maybe 25. And I'm like, for weeks, I'd be on my own. I'd be thinking, he's just up the road. I'm going to go around. I need to talk to him. I don't know what to say. I'm going to kill him. No, I'm just going to talk to him. And this went on for weeks and weeks. I'd see him, and I'd look at him and I'd go, you know, just take a deep breath. Okay, what do I do? And the adrenaline was something else. It was crazy. I didn't know what to say to him. I was trying to get this story in my head. And eventually, after weeks and weeks of procrastinating about this and thinking, can I do this? Nearly knocked on the door. This went on, and then I thought, no, I'm not going to knock on the door. And knock on the door. I knocked on the door. Finally, weeks and weeks and weeks, procrastinated. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I might just freeze. What if I freeze in front of him? You know, he'll get me again and stuff like that. I don't know what to, he's that cocky little kid. Knocked on the door and he answered. Didn't know who I was. Do you know who I am? I was furious. Do you know who I am? Didn't know. And he was on morphine. Morphine. He looked like an old man. I was so annoyed. I wanted that cocky kid to be there. And he let me in. I sat down. Old place, old gas fire, just like there was just nothing. There was no personality, nothing. It just looked like, Jesus Christ, you know, filthy. It was just mess everywhere. I was like, jeez, I didn't expect this. I wanted this cocky kid, you know? And for a while I was just like, do you know who I am? Oh, I don't know who you are. You do, don't you? And he didn't know who I was. So we talked and I told him about the cricket field and where it happened and what happened and how it affected my family for so many years. And I was so angry with him, so angry with him. And I just said, I really want to just. So eventually, he kind of started to get to know who I was. I was just like, he was like, and I was like, you know who I am, don't you? You remember, my mom was a mess. My sister didn't see it. She didn't see all the blood over my face. And I want to fucking kill you right now. I really want to fucking kill you right now. And then eventually I just said, I want you to come to the cricket field with me. It was around 11 o'clock, midnight now. And I wanted him to go. I wanted him to go so much. And he started to get a little bit, for the first time, he was a little bit like, oh, what are you going to do? I said, I just want you to come to the cricket field with me. Don't ask any questions. Just come up to the cricket field with me. So eventually he did. And we went up and he's getting his coat on. He's been really slow. And I'm just like, just get out of fucking. And we went up to the cricket field. And I was just like, I started to shake a bit because I remember it well. And I got him to the exact place where it was. And I just said to him, do you remember this place? This is where you were just punching me. I could have died. I could have died. My mom was devastated. She was terrified. It was just really horrible. And I had to deal with it for a lot of years. My self-esteem was rock bottom, absolutely rock bottom. And I said to you right now, I've pictured this so many times. I want to fucking kill you. I want to pummel your face and just kill you. And I looked at him and I was looking at him in the eye and he was a bit like, so like that. And I was just looking at him. I got hold of him like that and I just said, I forgive you. And he was like, and I let him go. And I was a bit like that. And then we walked back and he said something like, oh, we should go out for a drink sometime. And I'm like, no. That's not the reason I did this. No. It's just about getting closure. We're done now. We are done. I don't ever want to see you again. There is no, I understand that, resentment doesn't go anywhere. You have to let it go. You have to release it. But we are done. I don't want to ever see you again. I shook his hand and that was it. I didn't ever see him again. And then this film came up, Revenger. Wow.
I see,
I have got to do this film and make it. And I've agreed with the director. He came all the way from Gloucester to see me last week. We had a lovely conversation, lovely chat about bullying as well. And because, it's, yeah. And I just said, let's make something special. So we're going to do this. Yeah. So I wanted to share that with you, Angela. I mean, I know that, a lot of these videos that you have on your channel are about, I've done this, I've done that, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to do something a little bit different, you know. Maybe it'll move people in a certain way. I'm very passionate about, if there was a charity for bullying, I would support it wholeheartedly, because it can be so damaging, so damaging. When I see, you know, parents hitting their kids in the street or something, I go absolutely ballistic. I have to really kind of hold myself in. And I end up going over to the parents going, "Do you realize what they will do? They will hate you for the rest of their life." But I have to be just like, "Okay, don't do it." So that's kind of what I wanted to share as well. I mean, obviously, I know I've only got 30 minutes, but yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. Um, yeah, that was it really. Looking forward to filming Revenge. Looking forward to Solace of a Bus Stop coming out of the film festivals. Obviously, it's great. Going to be working, going to be attending the screenings for Escape, and obviously Witch is the big one for me. Yeah, and Jenna Saru's invited me to a London screening of. Wish I can remember the name, but there's lots of people in the film business that saying, "Hey, come along to the screening," and it just feels like there's some good stuff happening. I'm also attending Get Your Game On in the 1st of July in London, which is part of Voice Folks, which is part of gaming, which is part of mocap, and meeting some top sort of special people in the business. And Emily Dean, my amazing voice agents, on the panel. And so there's just a lot of good stuff happening. And I just feel in a really good place. I'm waiting on a few big demos at the moment. And yeah, I've got my finger in quite a few pies. I'm looking at a few things that making a few changes in my life that I can see now clearly with clarity, which I couldn't see before. So I'm in a good place. I'm in a good place. And yeah, you seem as if you've matured a lot as an interviewer, very much so. You seem a lot more relaxed, and it shows. And I've watched some of your interviews recently, and they're just very professional and articulate. Your English is getting better as well. You do an amazing job. I'm sure Martina Mercer is absolutely delighted with you. So you do an amazing job, and you know, as I said to you before, you give opportunities to so many other performers, which is amazing. Yeah,
No,
and
absolutely.
yeah,
Thank you so much.
Escape is going to be the big one, isn't it? It's a great cast, you know, Sarah, Alexander Marks, and Sophie Rankin, and JP Gates, Glenn Salvage, Angela Dixon, Sean Cronin. It's a nice mix of actors there. Tiffany Annam Daniels, yeah. And then it's really nice for me because I mentioned some actors to Howard, and he actually cast them in the film. And it's nice for me to do that. And you know, there's certain actors in this business. I know Glenn's like that, and oh, who's the other guy? Mark Zamit's like that to a certain degree. They just like helping other people, which I think is really nice. Nothing in return, you know. There is someone else I mentioned, and I can't remember who it was, but yeah, yeah. So that's it, really.
But what
Yeah,
can I
feel
s-
good.
but what can I say? I'm looking forward for all these films. You know, Howard is more than obvious. He's always my top. So if people get jealous, I say this is very obvious. I have all his films and wonderful. I'm very proud. I can call him friend. He's a very great person. And you
He's
know,
brilliant, and I've said
yes,
he's brilliant, is Owen, and I've said before, it's not just about what he does behind the camera. It's how he is with people on a day-to-day basis. He will turn up at the little events in Brighton. He doesn't care, and there's and he'll be there to support actors, directors, producers, whoever. He'll be there. Writers.
yes.
He'll just be there, and there's an audience of three. There's nothing in it for him. He just wants to help other people, and I love that about him. But then Mark Zamit's like that as well. And yeah, I've said this before: surround yourself with good people, good energy,
Yes, absolutely,
100%.
absolutely. And I send it all the good vibes for the election for the National Academy Award for the Ledge. My
Yes,
vote is for him, 100%. Me and Victor. We are
yeah, definitely.
Howard, 100%. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Oh,
But
I did. Sorry to interject there, Angela. I say sorry, but I am going to interject. I did an interview with John Higgins recently as well. It's strange actually because when I look at that interview, I was in such a different place, and I hope I get an opportunity to do it again. There's also Stuart Bannerman, Page to Screen. He's a very good guy as well. He sort of like helps performers as well. So I'm doing it's not a Zoom interview as such. It's sort of like article and answer loads of questions about film and your favorite actors and who you'd like to work with and stuff like that. So it's very interesting, yeah. So it's all about putting yourself out there, you know. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And Rosel, I like so much about thank you for sharing the bullying experience that you had, because normally I love to share those type of stories because I connect myself with your experience when I was a kid. Even as adult, I've been suffering for bullying, even at work. Not this work, on
Yeah.
previous jobs I had, especially for example, like you said, when people find something different of you. Doesn't matter you are a teenager or children, even adulthood, people are very miserable sometimes when they feel, people with, how can I say, that frustrated in their life, and it's better for them uh, to harm people that have I think better emotional system stability, because normally those people that are bullies are the weakest one, and they like to hit the ones that for
They're
them.
a little bit different. Instead
Yes,
of looking at the mirror themselves, they project outwards and put that crap onto other people. When it's them
yes,
that's the insecure ones, it's them, with the judgments and the yeah. I sometimes I know Glenn does some amazing work working with disadvantaged kids, Glenn Salvage, and I'm liking my job at the moment that I've got alongside my acting and my theatre and voiceover, but there is a part of me that would love to work in social work and working with young kids that are underprivileged and be sort of like I suppose a father figure in a way for them, but just to listen to them, actively listening rather than just listening, and help them to create shifts in their mind and emotion, and to move forward and just be there for them, because I feel I have a lot of crossover skills, and yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to share, what happened as well.
yes,
But like Boris Rottweiler, it's also a very cathartic experience, and I get the opportunity to get conclusion and get that sort of resolution and forgiveness and understanding as well through performance.
yes, yes. And you see how things, for example, is connecting in life, like you suffering that experience, you really live that bullying, the bullying situation in your life. You learn how to develop the forgiveness, because it's not easy. You have to be very strong, to forgive the
Yeah,
aggressor,
it's one of the hard
the aggressor, exactly. Now you are in the film, the revenge, something connecting with your experience.
revenger. Yeah,
Yeah, revenger, because otherwise I think if someone is not having that type of experience, will be able to portray, the acting feeling. And I think, something comes for a reason. And I'm thinking you're sharing the experience will be able to help others, anyone who's listening to us or watching this YouTube video.
yeah,
And also, I'm pretty sure in the upcoming interviews, you will be able to share the same experience to others. And also will be the audience to understand your shoes when you for your acting role for that particular feature film, for the film. Yes, and there's another thing called to my attention, Rosa, because this is not the first time I've been telling this to you. I told you this before. I love you acting so much, and if someone asks me who's my favorite actor, an independent, who is, it's not a secret. I love to see your performance with whatever role they give it to you. Your performance is so amazing. And I was reading the I don't want to say the information, the story behind of the recent short film that the solace of a bus stop. You propose to be sleeping on the streets. You want to, in reality, having the experience of the
Yeah.
homeless.
Yeah.
And I was seeing, it's not very common to see an actor expressing that.
It's
And
kind of
this,
method acting, isn't it? There are people, there are actors out there that would do that. There is, to be honest with you. Yeah. But yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interject.
yes.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, no, it's okay. No, don't worry about it. And I see that, and I was, it's a big plus because you want to, in reality, give a good message in the best way. Like
Yeah.
you propose that, but of
Tell the
course the
truth.
production company at the end did not allow you to do because of the safety purposes, right? At the end they
Yes.
decide, okay.
Yes, yes. They're a great team as well, Rudder Wilson Productions, really great team. And they did say, for safety reasons, probably not a good idea. But I think they appreciated the fact that I was going to do this in my own time, and it was just my way of sort of like researching my character and, getting into the right sort of mindset before, we say action. So yeah.
Absolutely. Do you have any anything additional projects you want to share besides all this that we mentioned? You mentioned actually.
Well, like I say, there's a few demos that I've sent off this week through VoiceFox and also my acting agent. So I'm just waiting to hear back. Excuse me. I'm just waiting to hear back on them. So these are the big ones, really. Witch, Escape, Solace, and Revenger. I mean, especially Witch. I mean, Witch is, very special. Obviously, Mark's shown me a few little clips of the finished scenes and stuff, and it's
Looking forward.
it's just it looks stunning, to be quite honest with you. It looks absolutely stunning. They have worked their socks off, and I know they're just very meticulous about everything, the grading, the sound, the visuals, the music, and yeah, the music's beautiful as well. It's really stunning. So that's the big one for me, as you know, which I can't say any more than that. But yeah, I hope what I shared resonates with some people. I've done so much work on myself as well. I don't just put in performance and get angry and then the locksmith in Lockdown Hauntings. I do a lot of work on myself as well. I'm a graduate of More to Life and I'm a graduate of Landmark Worldwide. Landmark Worldwide is not as spiritual as More to Life, but I do a lot of work on myself. Everything that's ever happened to me, I've gone there and processed it, and sometimes I think of myself a little bit like Howard in that respect, because when you think of Never Let Go and you think of some of his films, what he does, he bases it from his own experiences. I mean, Never Let Go, that it's about his son nearly drowning, and it's kind of like there's certain people that I think have memories of something, but it's like some people have memories of stuff and the visuals are not so clear, and other people have, it's like it happened yesterday. And that's how it is for me with my school life and my home life. I know it's not good, and I do struggle with it sometimes. Gosh, I'm getting quite deep here. We're all made up of sub-personalities, and I know one of my sub-personalities, the inner child, the young Russ, he can cause me problems sometimes in all aspects of my life, and it's just been aware. It's been aware, and as I said, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but I kind of I use that to my advantage, that awareness, so that in performances I can really tell the truth and go there with in exploring my feelings and my emotions, which I'm very proud of myself. I am. I've never said that before, but I am really proud of myself. I just feel I feel in a good place. I feel very calm and yeah, focused.
No, but you have fantastic projects that you've been working on, and I'm pretty sure all of this, Witch, Escape, what was Revenge?
Revenger, yes,
Revenger, yes.
by King of the Ducks.
Yes, exactly. And the Silence of the Bus Stop is even as a short film, is you never know what is the proposal after that, because the story is so beautiful. It's something that has to be, exposed, for people start developing, understand the other side of people. Those are homeless, how the experience, all the struggles they faces and all these things. Those type of movies I love so much. And yes, and I'm pretty sure, like I said last time when we have an interview together, I think all this is just the beginning of so many doors. Just imagine you finish with Witch, and then be another film with Howard Ford. Howard Ford is moving so fast. Next year, you never know where he's gonna be at. So
Well, he's also got another movie, hasn't he? He's also got another movie in the can already. I don't know in terms of casting and stuff, but I know he's also working on another film. And just with regards to Solace at the Bus Stop as well, I just wanted to add, when I put that post on Facebook about, you've only got to go into London nowadays on the tube and here on the tannoy, don't take notice of the beggars. It's quite horrible. They're human beings, and that's what I was trying to say. To not to be too obvious. And it's really interesting, actually. I was speaking with Rhoda Wilson about my character, and he's an ex-CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. He was, and when I got the script, I was just thinking, hang on a minute. He'd have support. He'd have places to go. He'd have friends. Really, he's just going to go sit on a bench, and then he's going to walk to this bus stop for solace. I don't want to say too much. I'm thinking, really, this doesn't seem very realistic to me. I'm struggling with this. And she actually told me a story about this homeless guy who had a similar life. And what happens is, I think, when your spirit's broken to such an extent where you just can't see clearly anymore, you kind of have patterns of behavior and routes, like going from the park bench in the park to the bus stop and back and forth, and nothing any different. You're familiar with that. You feel comfortable with that. You feel safe, and it's kind of it's like just a trapped mindset of just like, that's what can happen with homeless people. I think that they just get stuck in such a mindset that their world becomes so small, and they actually just feel just, what's the word? Just no sort of spirit left. Their spirits just crushed. They've given up. They might not have an address, so then they can't have this and they can't have that, because it's all a catch-22 situation. I'm aware that there are people out there that just kind of, cheat the system a little bit, or they just don't want to work, fuck the government and all this sort of thing. But for the most part, there are also a lot of people out there that are genuine. And that's something that Mark Zammit touched on in Homeless Ashes as well. There's a lot of genuine people out there that have got their stories. And we're all made up of stories. But it really angers me when I go into London and you hear on the tannoy, don't feed the beggars, don't give money to the beggars, don't, label them as this, beggars. And what happens is, for me, and I'm no saint. Sometimes I walk down the street and I see someone that's homeless or asking for money, and I'm kind of a bit like, are they genuine? Because that's what it's like. Because you do see a lot of people that just like, cans of lager getting pissed. But I can understand that as well. Your spirit's crushed. You need something. You need a drug. You need some kind of escape. And they've all got this story. All of them, or everyone has got their story in some way, because the truth is, they didn't start out that way. And that's the thing. None of us, we didn't start out that way. Whatever happened to Joe Blogs or whoever, everything that's happened in our life, we didn't start out that way. But what I've realized over time is that this stuff that happens to us on a regular basis, certain events that happen in our life trigger stuff, and we have experiences in our life where we might go below the line or develop low self-esteem, develop beliefs about ourselves that are not positive. Is that we can change it, and this stuff makes us who we are, and rather than be angry about it and reject it and get upset about it and let it bring us down, and let it empower you. Because for me, if the stuff hadn't happened to me that happened to me, and I haven't touched on a lot of the stuff, I wouldn't be doing what I love. I wouldn't. So my life's very colourful and creative, and I meet the most wonderful people, most beautiful people. I love the people around me. I don't want to sound like a lovey, but I do, and they're just very interesting and fascinating. And putting yourself on stage, putting yourself on the screen, that's nerve-wracking. It takes a lot of courage, and just wanting to learn about this amazing art, whether it's theatre, film, or voiceover. And yeah, embrace your past, no matter what. Don't be a victim to it. I was a victim to mine for decades, and then you get to a point in your life where you see things in a different way. I mean, I do EFT with my mom as well. My mom's an EFT practitioner. She's been amazing to me. It's always good to have someone like that. She's a psychologist as well, a qualified psychologist. So she passes me books and I read them and we talk and we have one-to-ones, and it's always amazing. And I've bared my soul to her many, many times. But you get to a point where, embrace your past, embrace all the life experiences, because they make you who you are today. So yeah.
Very interesting, because I saw that you watch one of the interviews I have with entrepreneur businessman Ben Chai, and basically
Oh
Ben,
yeah,
yes, and
very inspiring guy.
yes, that's what he says, that if we don't have the past that we had, we won't be able to be the person we are now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, I like his actually that interview. I told him recently about the example about the bamboo, and to be consistent, and also connect me with Howard. Howard, he always says consistent and do it even if you fail, stand up and continue. He said something very similar, and he says that sometimes the results we won't be able to see within a year, can take 1 or 2, 3 years, but it's the consistency. The consistency is the key. And of course, embrace the past, because without that, we won't be able to be the person we are now. For example, the experience that you had, the bullying and all insecurities, now give you develop the skills, the acting skills that you have now.
Yeah, what I would say is that I just continue to want to improve in every aspect of working as a film actor, because it seems that I'm going that way. I sometimes think about the TV side, and I think leaving Yorkshire maybe changed things for me, because I was having one-to-ones with the like of face starring of Emmerdale and Beverly Keogh, who's very well known. Casting director as well, and not so much Shane Meadows, but Mark Herbert and Paul Fraser and Nicky Salt, who were all part of the This Is England, Arctic Monkeys, Scummy Man, and all that kind of thing. But everything happens for a reason, and I was obviously meant to move here. And what's special about that, especially, I think the biggest highlights for me are definitely Witch, and the work I've done with Howard Ford. And I wouldn't have met those guys if I had stayed up north. So it's that thing also about never having regrets. Everything happens for a reason. I'm a massive believer in that. And I have all my family here as well. I got my mom, my sister, my brother, my niece, and I am massively grateful for that. Massively grateful. There isn't a day I don't show gratitude, say a little prayer or something. So, but it just in answer what you were saying earlier, I'm just constantly learning, and the film world is a whole new world from theatre. A whole new, I nearly burst into song like, but film is just there is so much to learn. It's incredible, and I feel I'm just getting started. To be honest with you, I feel I'm
Fantastic.
just getting started. Yeah, but very grateful for where I am right now. I'm not saying big star or anything. I don't know if I want to be, but what I'm doing, as long as it's got, I'm telling the truth, and I'm enjoying what I do, and enjoying the projects and the people around me. That's what's important to me. And I love my job. Love my job. Working in film, working in voiceover, working on projects, working with a team. And I'm definitely going to push myself a lot more this year. Definitely start like reaching out to other producers and casting directors and stuff. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, really, in a good
Fantastic.
place. And I thank you for the opportunity, Angela. You do amazing work, and I hope you carry on getting more subscribers as well. You give opportunities to so many people. It's wonderful, it really is.
Thank you so much. That's what I encourage all my guests. Please share to your contacts, because at the end of the day, it's like a community. It's like the same group of people. You never who is watching our interview. I have, thanks to the universe, I'm connected with more film directors. You never know, maybe different from your circle, and they need different actor, and they say, "Oh, let me see this actor." It happens. Recently, some of the actors and actresses, they had been connecting with other filmmakers, and filmmakers when they need some actors, and they are watching my interviews, and even we won't see 1,000 views, but at least if there's 100 or 40 or 60, at least it's to connect one to another. So that thing, I feel good to know that it's productive.
And also, I think, I've done interviews with you before, and also John Higgins, which I have to say I wasn't particularly happy with that one. But I'm looking forward to sharing this one because I think it helps that I just feel very relaxed, and that's I'm not the most articulate. Well, I'm not going to put myself down here, but I sometimes struggle because I've just got so much going on. I'm thinking too much, overthinking, or trying to. And I felt more relaxed this time than I have in the past, 100%. So I'm actually looking forward to sharing this interview more because hopefully it comes across and I'm more articulate and I like what I've shared. I've not kind of gone off too much on any one thing. There's kind of a bit more balance. But what I wanted to share was the short film Revenger as well, because the parallels with what the storyline's about and what happened to me. And I shared that with Owen when he came over last Saturday, and he shared something very precious to him as well. And he was quite blown away by what we talked about. Owen Pacisco, he's the director of Revenger, and
Fantastic.
I love the fact that he's coming from some of his own experiences as well. And we've just kind of, it's that synchronicity and what parallels. And I know Howard's a big fan of that as well. He's a big fan of synchronicity and things happening for a reason and stuff, and and energy and vibration and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it was a no-brainer for me. And he's a lovely guy, is Owen, really nice guy. So yeah, looking forward to making something special with him. And that's what it's about for me, getting involved in a project and, really,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
So
But
yes,
Well, yes, but between you and I have it's a project I'm planning to work with Julia Romanova. She's a spiritual coach. We planning to do some live events, like a podcast, and we will be asking all friends questions. You have personal questions. You're gonna bring out the tarot cards and all these things. I think it's something a little bit different, something for fun, because she's also an actress. And she knows many. She has very friends of common. And I told her, what about we make it something for fun and also people that can learn, some magical tips and things like that, and to make it for more, a little bit, more
nice.
different and something like that. We're gonna start doing just.
I like anything. Yeah, I like anything alternative. Wonderful. Good for you, Angela. Hope you
Yes.
enjoy. It sounds like you're very excited about it.
Yeah, something different. Everybody can be participating, and anyone who likes about magics and all these things, just for fun. And also, you never know. We can bring some good energy.
There's Yulia, is that Russian girl, isn't there?
Yes.
Yulia, she's very interested in all that sort of thing, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a very beautiful person. She had very good vibration. You can feel it. Actually, she nailed it. Yesterday when I interviewed her, she came up with tarot cards, and then she told me how something personal was difficult for me to describe. I couldn't be able to understand, and she described me 100%. She nailed it 100% that first time.
Yes, great.
Yes.
Oh, also a little special mention to Kerry Headley Cheney as well. She's also on the cast in which in Escape with Howard Ford. She's a great actress, and maybe you could interview her as well. She's lovely. She's very there's no messing with that lady. She's a good actress.
Okay, okay, okay. I
Yeah,
will check.
yeah, Howard's brought her on board as well. We've got an amazing cast, very, very interesting cast, full of colourful characters and actors as well. Especially pleased for Glenn Salvage.
I'm
Yeah.
pending with Glenn. He told me last time. I will confirm, but like he's so busy, I will need to remind him when he's to check his availability because I like his acting. He's very fabulous actor. And
He's just
also,
a-
Sean Cron is still pending, but I don't want to ask him again because we're supposed to do the interview on when he was in Cannes.
Yes.
But he has some technical problems. He was up and down dealing those kind of type of things. And then I know he's editing Boogie Bill. I don't want to bother him, so I'm just gonna wait until he's get more relaxed. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And just going back to Glenn as well, he's just he's such a lovely human being as well, you know. So I'm particularly happy for him. Yeah.
All the villains are my friends. That's why not. Most people I interview are villains.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting as well. I still think about it to this day, the fact that Howard just said, okay, Russell, I want you in my film Adventure Boyz. Have you met this guy called Glenn Salvage? And he showed me his show, really told me a little bit about him. Never met him before in my life. And yet we met. He's just very intuitive, is Howard. And we did some really great stuff together. And we've become good friends ever since. It's interesting though, isn't it? I think directors have a sixth insight sometimes. Yeah.
Yes, no, absolutely. Fabulous people. And what can I say? I'm very blessed and honored that I can call each one of you friends, and looking forward one day I can be able to meet each one of you in person. So this is a
Yes,
plans that we
yes.
have, Victor and I. We are just waiting some immigration documentations to finalize, and then he can be able to move to go to Texas. Right now,
Fantastic.
I'm in the middle on both sides. I'm living in Mexican border, and I work in Texas border and cross the border every day. And it's kind of
Wow.
something to make a film, a movie, or something. It's not easy. Especially security, safety is it's kind of.
Yes. And I hope Victor's very well. And yeah, love to you both. And thank you so much for the work you do. And it's been great. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much. You're
Nice
welcome.
to see you again. And
All
keep
right.
doing the amazing work. Well
Thank you,
done, Angela.
Russell. I love you too, and looking forward to do more interviews with you. And all the best, and congratulations for all the amazing projects you're working on.
Yes, thank you. All right. Take care.
I see you.
Take
See
care.
you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.